Hello, guys. Josh here with the very first installment of my podcast. I got a little quiet time in the house. Finally got a little downtime. May have to adjust my phone some because I don't have the greatest setup. They have a tripod on sale for Black Friday at my job, so I'm thinking I'm going to buy one of them so I can be a little more professional. But this is my very first podcast coming to you live from my house. And I want to call this podcast. I've told a couple people the name of my podcast, and they said it's clever. It's very articulate. The name of my podcast is Wherever and Whatever, which means wherever I'm at, we'll talk about whatever. I may set up at the river. There's a couple of great spots here in Blacksburg where I can just go and set up a phone and just talk and discuss like certain things. So the name of my podcast is Wherever and Whatever. Wherever I'm at, we'll talk about whatever we want. There'll be no profanity on this show. I am a Christian. I love Jesus with all of my heart and with all of my soul. And without him, I would not be sitting here having an opportunity to do this. I'm the associate pastor of my church. I'm the worship leader at my church. And I'm on the middle school coaching staff here. So I'm not going to do anything to tarnish my reputation or get into a debate about things that really don't matter. This is just me sharing my opinion. And this is just me talking. So I hope you enjoy. I'm going to send the link to a couple people that have been asking about it. I will post it to my YouTube page. The only problem is I don't get very many views on YouTube. So if I get more than 5 views, I'm happy. So, but it's okay. So here we go. Big news week this week. COVID vaccine seems to be rounding the corner, as President Trump said. Vaccine from Pfizer caused the stock markets to boom this week with anticipation of a vaccine. Dr. Fauci, who everybody loves, once again, I'm saying this is my opinion. This is my opinion on how I see things. So, Dr. Fauci, who everybody loves and who everybody just adores, and they hang on every word he says. Whatever he says, they say, hey, if Fauci said it, it is written in stone. Well, Fauci come out against masks. They didn't like that. Then Fauci kind of recanted a little bit. Hey, look, if masks work, I wear a mask every day of my life until this pandemic's over. I have no problem wearing a mask. That is the only thing, honestly, that I can honestly say that I have no problem with. A lot of people, a lot of my friends, they have a problem with wearing masks. They don't want to wear a mask. But I got kids that play sports, and I got kids in school, and if I have to wear a mask at school events, then I'm going to do it, because me getting to watch my daughter play, or me getting to watch, my other kids play ball, I'm fine with it. My stepson, he played baseball, and they didn't have a mask mandate. I mean, they would have liked for you to wear a mask, but they didn't have a mask mandate. But I mean, if they had somebody standing at the garden saying, "Hey, put your mask on," then I would much rather see my stepson play a baseball game than to tell somebody, no, I'm not wearing a mask. But that's my opinion. Now, that's not a popular opinion, but that's my opinion. But as far as Anthony Fauci goes, the media has tried to create this riffraff between him and President Trump, and there probably has been. I'm not real sure. I'm not in the room. But it seems like whatever Fauci says, everybody wants to do. But then when Fauci says something like he said a couple of days ago or yesterday, the media just completely ignores it. The media is so biased, it's so crooked, and it's both sides of the aisle. So um, he said yesterday that help was on the way, and that the pandemic won't probably be a pandemic much more longer because of the vaccine. Now the vaccine, they said they'll start distributing it in December to high-risk areas, and then Fauci said by April that everybody, like there could be everybody in America could receive the vaccine. Now, whether you take the vaccine or you not is totally up to you. I just know this, that if it's like a flu shot, I'm probably going to take it because I take a flu shot every year. But that's either here nor there. I'm not going to get into it with you about vaccines because whether you take it or not. But we're just going to talk about the vaccine just for a minute, okay? So you got the vaccine, and caused the stock market to just rumble this week. I mean, very, 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 very good week on Wall Street. So you got the vaccine that President Trump told us about. He said, hey, a vaccine's coming. We're rounding the corner on our vaccine. And he was telling the truth because 2 days after they 2 days after the media announced that Joe Biden was the president-elect, then Pfizer comes out and says, all right, well, we've got this vaccine, it's 90% effective, this, that, and the other, okay? So just such convenient timing, perfect timing, I guess. But, so we are rounding the corner on COVID-19. I know it's real. I mean, I lost my grandmother to COVID-19. There's been several other people that I know that has been affected by COVID-19. But the issue that I have with COVID-19 is I don't want no more lockdowns because I think lockdowns do more harm than good. I read an article yesterday, and I think it was from New Zealand, that the psychological effects of a lockdown has really took its toll on people from the age of 18 to 30. Well, those people are working, those people are in college, those people are basically in the prime of their life. I'm 37 years old, so I'm done with half of my life, and I'd like to live another 37 years, but I'm saying when you're 18 and you're 30 years old, like you're still a relatively young person, and so to be locked up and cooped up in a house or an apartment or wherever where you can't work, you can't go outside, you can't do this, you can't do that, it takes its toll on your mind. And and I believe, look, I don't know how the recounts are going to go. Y'all know that I'm a Trump guy. I like President Trump. I've always liked him, but if he's not the president, then he's not the president. We take it like a grain of salt. We go on. We pray for our leaders, and we call Joe Biden's name out to God, just like we did Trump, just like we did Obama, just like we did Bush. But what I'm saying is we don't need another lockdown. And you got Joe Biden's advisor, somebody on his advisory board saying that we need to go in lockdown from 4 to 6 weeks. Well, thank God that's not going to happen until after January 20th, even if it does happen. But I don't want it to happen after January 20th because lockdowns just have so much more of an effect on our lives than the danger of catching a virus. I know that the virus is very, very rough on elderly folks and folks that have pre-existing conditions, and I think that we should shield them, and I think that we should protect them. But to cause people to lose their job and to lose their businesses, you're playing with people's lives. Your suicide. I read an article the other day where suicide was up 200%. and you know, and if we go into another lockdown, especially if they did it at Christmas, you would see like just mass casualties of of people killing themselves because of the financial burden that this pandemic has already took on people's, you know, psychological state, and you know, and it's just not good for people to be locked up here in South Carolina. I think we've done really well with the virus. You know, like him or love him, but Henry McMaster has done really, really well with it, and you know, and our school districts have done really, really well with keeping the children safe. Last night, just last night, I went and watched my daughter play a scrimmage basketball game, and I just loved being there. And you know, there probably wasn't, but I don't know, maybe 80 to 100 fans there watching it. But you know, it was good to see that life will eventually return back to normal, and the vaccine's on its way, like Fauci said. So the vaccine is going to help drive down spread. The vaccine is going to help get people better, and that's what Trump's been telling us for the last, you know, 4 months, 5 months, is there was a vaccine on the way, and so here's a vaccine. Could be available the first part of December. I hope nobody in Washington comes against it, because apparently it's 90% effective, and the FDA only says it's got to be 50% effective. So, you know, not 90% efficiency rate, which I'm happy about it, no matter who the president is. Not 90% efficiency rate, so I'm excited about that, so we can, you know, hopefully eliminate COVID-19. I don't think we'll ever fully get rid of COVID-19 because, you know, it's just like the flu or anything else. It's going to be here. But China seems to have gotten rid of COVID-19. China has, well, they got billions and billions of people living in China, and I've said this from day one, and I'll say it again. I believe there was something shady that went on, and because China, you know, just last week, because I like watching YouTube. I typed in Wuhan, China, and just last week, Wuhan, China, or excuse me, a couple weeks ago, Wuhan, China had a concert where 40,000 people were there. There was no mask, there was no nothing. There was 40,000 people, and they were shoulder to shoulder. And so apparently, China knows how to eradicate this virus. And if China was a good friend of us, a good friend of ours, instead of ripping us off all these years like they have been, they would tell us what to do. And a lockdown is not how to drive this down, because we've already been through lockdown. We locked it down for 2 months back in the spring, and it didn't drive down, it did drive down the infection rate, and it did drive down, it did slow the spread to manageable levels. But now here we are again, and we're talking about doing another lockdown. Let me finish my point right quick. Here in South Carolina, we've not, of course the case count is up, but we've pretty much been open now for, I don't know, 3 months, three or 4 months, I'm guessing. I know he allowed the restaurants to go full blast October the 2nd, and you know, we've not really had a big problem here in South Carolina. Could we say we've built up herd immunity? We may have. I don't know. But what I'm saying is a lockdown is just not the way to go. In my opinion, a lockdown is not the way to go. And we can't expect, you know, the government to keep paying our bills, because one day the government is going to run out of money too. And then we're going to be up the creek without a paddle. But about China, they got billions of people live over there. They're only at like 91,000 cases. And that's crazy. That's crazy. Because here we are in America, they say we got 10 million cases. I don't know the exact number. That's 10 million cases since the pandemic started. I don't know how many people actually have it right now. They say hospitalizations is up. I believe it, because I believe the virus is real. Like I said, you know, I had a grandmother die from COVID-19. She had some other health problems, and then I know some people that has got it, that it has affected their life in a significant way. Um, but a lockdown would shield us away from the virus, but it would create all these other financial problems that come with being cooped up in a house. Russia um seems to have a vaccine that is 92% effective, and we don't have that vaccine. Whatever vaccine they've got, you know, seems to be working out well for them. So it seems like if Russia and China were worldly friends, uh, were like good allies of all these other nations, the U.S. would have help immediately. Um, the India would have help. Italy would have help. France would have help. Um, I mean, that's all I'm saying. Um, I'm tired of COVID-19, and I know that you are as well. Um, but I'm glad help is around the corner. I'm glad that Fauci, he put that out there. And Fauci's also warned against lockdowns. Fauci said, look, you just create all these massive burdens when you have another lockdown. And I believe him. I believe Fauci. I don't think Fauci was ever working for the Democratic Party. There were some theories out there that says Fauci was, had Pelosi in his ear and had Schumer in his ear and had Clinton in her ear and all that stuff. I don't believe that because I really believe Fauci is a pretty fair and balanced individual. And I think he really, really takes his job serious. And I really, really think he understands things. So he's warned against the lockdowns. Why do we keep talking about lockdowns? You got your top infectious disease person in America. That's what the media tells us every time this man talks. So guess what? Listen to what he says. Warns against the lockdown. And another thing while I'm at it. The CDC says we got to be 6 feet away from each other. The WHO says 3 feet. So which one's right? Which one's telling the truth? We don't know. But that's neither here nor there. All right, so that's enough about COVID-19. If you've lost a family member to COVID-19, my heart goes out to you. Like I said, it's a real virus. It causes some real major problems in folks that have already gotten some conditions that are not healthy, and then there's been some instances where COVID-19 has just took people out who were healthy, and so my heart goes out to you, but my heart also goes out to that family that has lost a family member to suicide because of COVID-19 put them out of work. Also, I can talk about that because I had a person in my family commit suicide back when I was a kid, and so people that commit suicide is close to my heart. It's something that I'm passionate about, and I think we should speak out against suicide and the things that cause suicide. So, all right, so that's enough about COVID-19. Now let's talk about the election. I have posted on my Facebook that we win with grace and we lose with grace. And I mean that. I referred to Barack Obama as President Obama because he was the president. I do not believe, and this is not popular with some of my conservative friends, but I do not believe that we should have ever brought up an issue about his birth certificate. And then people saying Michelle's a man. I just don't understand all that. But I've always referred to President George Bush as President Bush. And then there's President Trump. It's hard for me to refer to Joe Biden. It'll be hard for me to refer to him as President Biden. Because when the mail-in ballot thing started, President Trump warned us all. This is what they're going to try to do. This is how they're going to try to do this. The mainstream media will not cover any of this because they know that, like, if a story broke on CNN right now and it said suspicious voter fraud in Detroit, election may tilt back into Trump's favor, this country would go crazy. So they try to downplay it. I was listening on the radio yesterday, and there has been people that voted in, Michigan. There's been people that voted in, I think, Wisconsin. People that have been dead for 30, 40 years voting. And that's not right. That is legit voter fraud. So it's hard for me to refer to Joe Biden if it comes out that he is the president, if he's officially the president. The media has named him, but that's not official yet because all the states have yet to certify. But it's hard for me to refer to him as President Biden because it just seems like something shady has went on. I'm not promoting conspiracy theories, but there's a lot of evidence out there, and I know that the media wants evidence, but the media, they can't get their hands on the evidence because right now it's tied up in affidavits, and it's tied up in courts, and it's tied up in all that other stuff. I don't understand how, when I went to bed on election night, Trump had these massive leads in all these swing states: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona. We've yet to call North Carolina. I don't understand that, but we've yet to call North Carolina. And then when you wake up and throughout the day, he starts losing these leads in all these swing states because they start counting these mail-in ballots. Now, you win with grace and you lose with grace. So if it comes out, after all these recounts are done and after all these lawsuits are finished, that yes, Joe Biden is the president, I will pray for Joe Biden. I will pray for Kamala Harris. But it'll be hard for me to refer to Joe Biden as President Biden. They want us to rally behind Joe Biden. They want us to rally behind, they say the Democratic Party is the party of unity. Well, for the last 3.5 years, there has been some things that have been said about me that is not true at all. People have implied that I'm a racist. That is the furthest thing from the truth. Anybody that knows me and listens to this, that is the furthest thing from the truth. The absolute most. I get so mad when somebody implies that I'm a racist. Like, I've had people delete me off of Facebook because I voted for Donald Trump. How childish can you be? Like, and then people call me a bigot, okay? And people call me, like all these things, and they say, oh, you're against the LGBT community and all this stuff. Well, listen, I'm going to break it down for you. I don't agree with the gay lifestyle at all, okay? Because I am a Christian, and it's our job to stand against any sin, okay? But I do not condemn gay people. I don't mistreat gay people. I don't talk bad about gay people. I have a friend of mine who's gay. He's one of my favorite people. If he was sitting beside me right now, we could have the most peaceful conversation in the world. Okay? And he's very, very far left. He's very, very Democrat. He's very, very liberal. And I can sit here and have a good conversation with him. And then we could go have a meal together at a restaurant, and I would be okay with it. I'm not a bigot. And for 3.5 years, the media and this Democratic Party has painted a picture about Trump voters that we are racist and we are bigot. I'm not racist and I'm not a bigot. Let me tell you why. Number one, I love all people of every color. Okay? I have no issue with black folks. I have no issue with Mexican folks. I have no issue with none of those folks. I love those people. Okay? And it's crazy that for 3.5 years people implied that if you voted for Trump, then you was out to get minorities and you were out to get gay people and you were out to do this and all this. But let me tell you something. I'm not racist and I'm not a bigot. Just like I said a minute ago, I don't agree with the gay lifestyle, okay? But Jesus said in John 3:17, "For God sent His Son into the world not to condemn the world, but through Him the world might be saved." It's not my job to condemn anybody's life. It's not my job to condemn anybody's way of their lifestyle. Now, there's things in my life that people can condemn, but I'm glad they don't. And there's things in other people's life that could be condemned, but I'm glad that we don't. We love people. Jesus loved me even in my sin. And Jesus loves the gay person even in their sin. But there's no difference between being gay and then gossiping and backbiting and jealousy and causing bitterness and causing strife and all that stuff. If the gay person repents of their sin and turns away from that lifestyle, then guess what? They're saved. Just like the person over here that gossips. If they say, "Lord, I'm sorry for talking about people. I cannot talk about people no more." Guess what? It's a lifestyle of repentance. And Jesus will save anybody that calls upon the name of the Lord. Now, neither here nor there. Okay, so they want us to rally behind the Democratic Party. Call for unity. Man, I don't want to unify behind that party. That's implied that I'm racist, that I'm a bigot. I'm not unifying people that calls me a chumps and calls me a deplorable. And I'm not unifying behind those people. I'm not unifying behind the Democratic Party. For 3.5 years, people called Donald Trump 45. People posted on Facebook, Elf Trump. People done all this. And these are the same people that put on their Facebook, "Oh, now it's time to unify." Why do I need to unify? You've implied. Listen, I've seen Facebook posts that says F Donald Trump and all his voters. And then the second the AP called the race for Joe Biden, they said, "Man, unity's about to take place. Unity. We all need to unify." Well, you just cussed me out not even a week ago or 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. There was some shady business that went on in some of these. This election has been shady. It's been real shady. And it'll be hard for me to call Joe Biden president. I'm just being honest. Because I'm not going to say, well, I am going to say it. There was massive record turnout for voters. And then the media, they put an article, or whoever it was, CNN or somebody says, what's scary is there was 72 million people that voted for Donald Trump. Why is that scary? Trump's done some good things for this country. He built the greatest economy that this country's ever seen. He really, really transformed prison reform, to where these people that had been in prison for all these years for basically nothing. They were able to walk free, and people, the Kardashians and Kanye, he influenced it. Well, I'm glad they did. And I'm pretty sure that family of this individual that was released from prison, well, I'm glad that, I'm pretty sure they're glad that Kanye and Kim Kardashian went and talked to President Trump about it. Why not? Why not, right? So, I mean, that's what we're supposed to do, help each other. And if it took, if it took Kanye and Kim Kardashian for my brother to get out of prison, I mean, I'd be grateful. I mean, I would be 100% grateful. So, I think Trump's done some great things for this country. Like I said, if it does come out that Joe Biden is officially the president, I will pray for him. And I may one day call him President Biden. But as of right now, I don't see how these mail-in ballots. There was one article that says Pennsylvania mail-in ballots favored 9-1 over Joe Biden. It favored Joe Biden 9-1. That's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. I don't believe that. So that's my take on it. I do pray for my leaders, though. It's a very, very weird time in our world, weird time in our nation. There's got to be a reason why. Hold on, I got to yawn. It's early in the morning. There's got to be a reason why, for the last 4 months, the media has repeatedly asked Press Secretary Kayleigh. They've repeatedly asked President Trump. They've repeatedly asked people on his administration team, will Trump concede on election night? Will Trump concede if he lost? Will Trump concede? Will Trump just give up? Will Trump? Because they want him to. They want him to stop. Like they want him to give up and they want him to just move on. Like they're tired of him. They want him to just say, all right, I lost. Congratulations, Joe Biden. And then they want him to just leave. There has to be a reason why they continuously ask that question. I don't remember them asking Hillary Clinton, hey, Hillary Clinton, would you concede if you saw that Donald Trump, who's never been in politics all his life, and and this, that, and the other, would you concede or would you accept defeat? I mean, I don't remember them asking her that, but now they're asking President Trump. There was just something in the water, something shady, and I hold true to it. This is my podcast. This is my show, wherever and whatever, and this is my opinion. I do not post my opinions on Facebook no more because it just seems to invite a whirlwind of arguments and debates, which leads me to my next conversation. People that comment on your Facebook only to argue with you. It's wrong, and it's tasteless, and it's not right. Okay? So, I have some family members who only comment when they disagree with me. Now, I used to be a terrible person. Okay? I used to be a really, really bad person. Had an addiction to painkillers before I knew the Lord. I've been saved since 2011. And before that, I had a really, really hard time getting off painkillers. But the day I gave my heart to the Lord, that addiction to painkillers was gone. It was left. I was delivered. So, in the 9 years that I've been saved, God's done a work in me. I'm the associate pastor of my church, like I said earlier. I'm the worship leader. I work at Walmart. I have a bread route that I do. I help coach down here at the middle school. Basketball, I love basketball. I love the game of basketball. So God's done a work in me. Like my reputation went from being troublemaker to reverend. Okay? My reputation went from being no good to somebody. Somebody say amen. And then you got these family members, and you got these friends, okay, that only comment on things that they disagree with. Now they say, Josh, we love you, man. No, you don't. You don't love me. because you only comment on things that you disagree with. Like if I post something pro-Trump, oh man, it just invites whirlwind of conversation, arguments. But you let me post a picture of my wife and me, or my kids and me, or my house, or you let me post a picture of my church, like you let me post a picture of all this stuff, and silence, crickets, nothing, nothing. But if I went on my Facebook right now and said, hey, Joe Biden cheated to win the election, I don't think Joe Biden cheated at all. I think there's some people that Joe Biden's not associated with done some shady stuff. Now, that's my opinion. All right, so, but if I went on there right now and said Joe Biden cheated, my Facebook would blow up in a matter of an hour. I'd probably have 150 comments with people just getting on there arguing from both sides of the aisle now, a Republican and Democrat. Boy, they'd get on there, and they just go off. Okay? But you let me post a picture of my family and crickets. Now, same thing goes for my fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. Yeah, I told you, this is wherever and whatever. I'll talk about whatever I want. It's my podcast. So, you got Christian folks. I've actually thought about doing a social experiment to post something just so radical that'll make people think that I don't serve the Lord no more, and I bet my Facebook page would blow up with Christians who never talk to me, that never reach out to me about anything except when it benefits them. I bet my Facebook page would blow up in a matter of minutes with people, Josh, we're praying for you. But then there'd be some people that'd be like, Josh, we knew that you was going to backslide one day. Or there would be conversation in behind closed doors that say, well, I told you Josh wasn't really a preacher and this, that, and the other. Folks, the Bible says that we are to encourage one another and uplift one another. And if you are a believer in Christ Jesus, if you're not encouraging people or lifting them up, then you are doing the work of the devil. So if you're only reaching out to your family member and your friends when you disagree, you're not a good family member and you're not a good friend. And I don't care how that hits people. Me, there's some people on my Facebook page that I know argue with me about Trump, that I know argue with me about politics, that I know argue with me about this, that, and the other. But they'll hug my neck too when they see me. You know what else they'll do? They'll like my post on Facebook. I'm not saying you have to like my post, but don't come to the table if you not like what's being served. So, there's people on my Facebook page that we do disagree. I mean, we disagree on politics. We disagree on, who the president is and, and all that stuff. But they also like pictures of my kids. They also like pictures of me and my wife. They also reach out to me and say, hey, Josh, how can I help support the mission? How can I do this? How can I do that? And, there you have it. So those people are the kind of people that I love. That, hey, I know you got a difference of opinion. And you know what? That's your right. That's your right as an American citizen, is to have a difference. We have no right to hate each other. We have no right to hate each other for the color of our skin. We have no right to hate each other for the lifestyle that you choose to live. And we have no right to hate each other at all. We have no right to hate each other at all. And, if you only comment on people's Facebook page when you disagree with them, uh, then that's a form of hatred, in my opinion, and you're spewing hatred. So that's just my opinion. Like I said, whoever listens to this probably they they might not like that, but it's okay. It's okay. If you hadn't told me you're proud of me yet, you probably ain't gonna tell me you're proud of me. So I'm not really worried about what somebody thinks of this video. I refuse to only talk to people when I disagree with them. Will not do it. Let's see, what else? What else we're going to talk about? Oh, Thanksgiving coming up. People, spend time with your families. Come on. I mean, spend time with your families. Don't shove grandpa or grandma in a room with turkey and mashed potatoes and expect them to figure out how to get on a Zoom call and to fellowship with their other family. Come on, people. Yeah, and I mean, do temperature checks. There's ways that you can spend time with your family on Thanksgiving without, being scared of COVID. Do temperature checks. Wear mask. All that. This is the first Thanksgiving I've had off in 16 years, and I'm going to spend Thanksgiving with my family. I'm not going to hesitate. Oh, I dropped my bottle lid. It's okay. I'll pick it up in a few minutes. So, have a good Thanksgiving. Let's see. I got about 10 minutes here. We'll just shoot off the hip with some stuff here. Let's see. What do we want to talk about? Let's see. Oh, let's talk about sports. So basketball started last night. Had a scrimmage game. Happy about that. Love watching high school sports, man. Love watching these kids grow and develop. Let's see. In the world of college football, my Florida State Seminoles, half the team quit. Jimbo, man, I blame Jimbo Fisher. I hope this video reaches Jimbo Fisher's desk. Probably won't, but I hope this video reaches Jimbo Fisher's desk. He left Florida State in shambles. He left it in a mess, and I'm not a fan of Jimbo Fisher at all. I hope Texas A&M loses every game. I know they don't, but I hope Texas A&M loses every game. Pro football. I'm a Buccaneer fan. They got rid of my boy Jameis, but the Saints gave Tampa Bay a whooping last week, 38-3, and Jameis got to finish the game off in Tampa. So pretty excited about that. Excuse me. Let's see. College basketball is just around the corner. I just read before I got on here that the Ivy League has canceled all their sports for the winter. They could have just played in empty stands and empty arenas until the vaccine got distributed, but whatever. So looking forward to college basketball. Looking forward to see what Florida State's got there. I don't care what anybody says. Florida State would have won the national title last year if they would have had the NCAA tournament. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's see what else. Blacksburg closes out their season tonight against Crescent on the road. So good luck to the Blacksburg Wildcats as they travel. The fish fry is tomorrow for the band. $10 a plate. Y'all be sure to go down to the cafeteria. It's going to be to-go orders this year because of COVID. We got to be safe. So go down there and get you some fish tomorrow. $10 a plate. Support the Blacksburg High School Marching Band. Let's see what else. The barn here in Blacksburg is doing really, really well. They're having a vendor fair. I don't know, you just have to look up the barn on Facebook, and you can follow all their events there. It's a neat little business that has came to town. As everyone's aware, I'm opening up a mission here in Blacksburg. The building that we got is not going to work out because of some zoning ordinances and all that stuff. So, but the town of Blacksburg has been very gracious, and I'm going to look at another building just right up the road from my house here this coming week. So we'll probably get that building and not have to do a lot to it to open up the mission. So I'm excited. I'm excited about what the Lord's doing. Like I said earlier in my podcast, this is my first time doing this. I know that my opinion is not going to be the same as your opinion, whoever watches this. But that doesn't mean we quit loving each other. That doesn't mean that we quit having anything to do with each other. I've got some really, really liberal friends. I've got some really, really Democrat friends. You know, I don't understand why they vote the way they do, and they don't understand why I vote the way I do. And if we were all the same, the world would be pretty boring, I guess. But we're not, and that's what makes the world go round and round and round and round. So, as I wrap this first podcast up, I've been talking for 45 minutes just off the hip here. There'll be more things that I will talk about and discuss on future podcasts. I hope to set up at the river here in a couple weeks, maybe. I will post this to my YouTube page. Whoever reads it, just know that I love all people, that I am not what the media has portrayed Trump voters to be. You know, there's a couple young people that I know that they put on Facebook. They say, hey, it's okay to support Trump. It's okay to support Biden. But when you argue back and forth with your family members and your friends over it, you need to grow up. And now these are young people saying this. Well, grown folks really, really need to take heed to that. Grown folks really. I will not comment on anybody's post that I disagree with. Anybody. I will not do it. Because I just can't do it. I'm not going to argue with anybody. It's their right as an American citizen to vote for whoever they want to vote for. And so I'm down with it. I'm down with, you know, because there's a lot of stuff that happened for people to have those rights to vote. A lot of soldiers died. There was wars fought over it. You know, black people had to go through all kind of stuff to get the right to vote, and you know, and so you vote however you see fit. I'm down for anybody's right to vote. Women couldn't vote until when? Well, I don't know. Maybe somebody can educate me on that. But that's crazy, man. If you're an American citizen, listen. If you're an American citizen and you're living, okay, you should have a right to vote. And however you vote is totally up to you. All right, so this is enough rambling for today. I just want to tell y'all that I love y'all. All of you are my friends if you want to be. I love each of you dearly. And here in a couple weeks, we will have another podcast. This is Josh signing off to the wherever and whatever.